All right, let's welcome Fasika Zelealem from OddsUSA.com. Hey, Fasika, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Bram. Thanks. How are you?
We had Cam McCann on earlier. He's going off on Chris Weidman, hates him. This weekend, hates him for his career, hates everything about him this weekend. It's fading him hard. How are you seeing UFC?
I mean, it's been brilliant what Dana White's been able to do throughout the pandemic, putting on, events almost every single week and, major events as well. So it's getting better and better. It's bringing in more fans because, most of sports has been basically suspended during the pandemic. So I think it's been great for the UFC, even though they haven't had any fans. But I think this pandemic's actually, raised the profile of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've done a fantastic job. The NBA's done a good job with it as well. The NHL's done a good job with Major League Baseball. We'll see. But as for the fight this weekend with Chris Weidman, are you fading him hard too?
It's a difficult one for him because, he's 1-5 in his last 6. People have said, it's kind of time for him to probably, retire. He's been knocked out a few times in his last fight, in his last losses as well. And, he's still got the name Chris Weidman. Still, people are still going to tune in, former champion and all that. But whether he actually, gets the win, it's a difficult one for me. I can't, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into some of the Champions League games that are going on overseas. And let's start with Man City, who's had a crazy week with the Ferran Torres stuff, and they're fighting a potential ban from the league and all that stuff. Yet they won their first leg against Real Madrid. So what do you see here?
It's going to be a great game. That's what I know. And it's going to be a tough one for Man City because in Europe, they haven't been successful. So, and coming up against a Real Madrid team, who've won the league, who are, European giants, have won the most Champions Leagues ever, it's going to be a tough one for City with Aguero potentially out of the game with injury. I see Real Madrid going through. I think it will be a tough game, maybe one goal in it. But I think Madrid go through, and City they have another failure in the Champions League.
Okay. How about Chelsea and Bayern Munich? What do you see there?
Yeah, that's a dead rubber game. Bayern Munich, they demolished Chelsea 3-0 in the first leg. It wasn't competitive. But yeah, for that game, Chelsea I don't think they can go through. I mean, you can never say never in sports, but for this particular game, I think you're safe to say that Bayern Munich are going through to the quarterfinals.
I mean, they steamrolled them in the first leg, and
yeah.
I mean, frankly, before all the pandemic stuff, I mean, Chelsea was awful. Like leading into what ended up being the break anyway, they have not been able to bounce back. I don't know what happened to them, honestly, this year.
Yeah, I mean, they had such a great start to the season, the first, great, 2-3 months. But then, they start to get a lot of losses, and they're not a team that draws many games. They're a team that either wins or loses, and they lost, quite a few games coming up to the Christmas break and before the pandemic. But, they did improve, coming into the restart. They did lose a couple of games, but they did manage to get their goal of Champions League football, and albeit they did lose the FA Cup final, I mean, it's still I think it's a good year for Chelsea getting Champions League with Frank Lampard first year in charge. Even though they did lose the final, I think it's been a decent year for them, and signing Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech and potential incomings. I think they've got a bright future, Chelsea.
As for this match, though, with Bayern Munich up 3-0 heading into the second leg, I think they handle this. And how do you bet on this? I mean, I'm assuming they're going through, but I mean, what are we looking at here in terms of like what an outcome may be?
I don't think it's going to be another steamrolling like the first leg. I think Chelsea, they have a bit of pride. They have fight. They're a decent team, Chelsea. So I think they're going to be up for it, knowing that they really have nothing to lose after the first leg. So I think they might score a couple of goals. I think Bayern Munich will ultimately win the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will be like it was in the first leg. It will be a lot more competitive.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. All right. How about Atalanta and PSG? What do you see there?
I think that's probably the most interesting, intriguing game in the Champions League around the 16 quarterfinals, because Atalanta they just score a bunch of goals. They score so many goals. They've scored 7 goals around 3 times this season in Serie A. They've already confirmed their place in the Champions League, and PSG, like Man City, have failed in the Champions League. They're a great team in their domestic league. Of course, they won the French league yet again. But with Mbappe's out. Kylian Mbappe is probably their best player alongside with Neymar. He's out with injury. Marco Verratti, their midfield maestro, he's out with injury as well. It's going to be a difficult one for PSG, and they have all the talent in the world, but they've had the talent in the past and they've still failed. So I see this one as a draw, to be honest.
Oh, Atalanta is prolific. I mean, you'd mentioned the goal scoring. They're 22 goals better. I mean, it's all pre-pandemic and everything. They were 22 goals better than Juventus, who was at the top of the table of Serie A. I mean, they are ridiculous, the amount of goals that they can score, and they can explode.
Yeah, it's incredible knowing, all the talent that Juventus has in attack. Cristiano Ronaldo, Paulo Dybala, Gonzalo Higuain, and with Atalanta, whose players, may not be as known to the football world. Josip Ilicic, Luis Muriel, Duvan Zapata, they've scored almost close to 20 goals each this season. They're just remarkable. I mean, I don't know anybody who saw this coming from Atalanta.
Yeah.
But this is their first time in the Champions League quarterfinals in their history. So it's going to be like them. They've really got nothing to lose. I mean, it's already been a successful season for them, just getting to the quarterfinals. So they'll be thinking, why can't we get to the semifinals?
Who are you buying in the Champions League right now? Who are you backing right now in terms of making a deep run in it?
I initially backed Manchester City, but I do have to go for Real Madrid. The way they finished the season in Spain, winning the league, which is something they don't win much in Spain. Barcelona have won the majority of them in recent years, but I think the way they play under Zidane, the leaders that they have in Karim Benzema and Sergio Ramos, and just the sheer experience they have there. I mean, they're the most experienced team in the Champions League. I think they get their they get their hands on the trophy again.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on it. Fasika Zelealem, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.